Hey guys, so my name's Sebastian. Today's Wednesday, and this week on the channel we're supposed to talk about something serious that we feel should be talked about, and what I want to talk about today is something that's really not easy for me to talk about, and I'm really hoping I don't become a crying, impossible to understand mess in this video, but it's something I've personally struggled with, and I still struggle with, and that's self-harm. The reason I'm making this video is because I want to raise awareness and fight the stigma of self-harm and hopefully help someone out there who's struggling with self-harm. First, I guess I should talk about my struggle with self-harm. So, I had a really hard 2014 and a really hard 2015. I was realizing my gender, I was realizing my sexuality, less realizing and more admitting, and that was hard for me to do. I had a lot of stuff happening in my personal life. I had a lot of difficult events happening, and a lot was happening all at once, and there were a lot of things that I felt were my fault, and I've been told that they aren't, and I still feel like they are my fault, and I blamed everything that was happening on myself. And I felt like I needed to punish myself, and I felt like I needed to hurt myself. So I started scratching and digging my nails in my skin, and I don't want to go into any more detail than that, because I don't want to trigger anyone, but I did that, and I did that for like 6 months, or I don't know how long it was exactly, just all kind of blurred, and I did that, and I didn't know what was self-harm, because the only way I thought you could self-harm was cutting or burning, and I didn't know that there's way more other kinds of self-harm. They were all just as serious. I didn't know until my best friend found out, and she got really upset at me, and understandably, she's like, stop doing that, that's self-harm, stop, and she tried to get me to stop, because she was worried, which is understandable, but up until that point, I didn't know that was self-harm, because I didn't know about those kinds of self-harm. There was never any information I saw about it. So, the definition of self-harm is doing harm to oneself. This is a really broad term. Well, it's doing an action with the intention of harming oneself. And by the way, I have some notes here just because I don't want to say the wrong thing. It's just kind of hard for me to make, but so self-harm can be cutting, burning, scratching, picking at scabs or cuts intentionally and repetitively, hitting, punching, or slapping yourself, not sleeping because you feel like you don't deserve it, not eating because you feel like you don't deserve it. And self-harm can also be things that I haven't listed. It's anything that's done to harm yourself. And all kinds of self-harm are severely and extremely serious. And if you're struggling with self-harm, I just want to say now that you are not alone. I understand what you're going through because I'm going through it too. I know no matter how much you feel otherwise, you're not alone. There are people who care about you so much, and there are people who want to help you. So, if you're struggling with self-harm and you want to stop, it can be hard. Like, it's really hard to stop self-harming because it becomes a habit. Like, that's a terrible thing to say. I know it sounds like horrible, but it does. But there are two ideas that I found that kind of help with the first few days of being clean, and that is the Butterfly Project and the hashtag #CutCake initiative that Luke Cutforce did. So, the idea of the Butterfly Project is you draw butterflies on the area where you want to self-harm. Like, I drew them on my arm the first days I was clean, and the idea is you can't harm the butterflies. So you can't self-harm in that area or on the butterflies, or else the butterflies die, and if one butterfly dies, the rest die, and if you self-harm anywhere else, the butterflies are still harmed, and they still die, I guess. So you draw butterflies, and you can name them after people, or you can have family and friends draw them on you. Like, my best friend drew a butterfly on me, and one of my teachers drew a butterfly on me. One of my teachers who I trust enough to tell. And that was basically one of the only reasons I actually managed being clean, was doing that, because it just helped, I guess. The idea helped. because even though I wanted to hurt myself, I didn't like the idea of hurting other things. And that's a fairly well-known idea that works pretty well for a lot of people. And then there's the Cut Cake Initiative, which Luke Cuckford did, where the idea is, since the first 7 days you're clean are some of the hardest days, you get a Sharpie on the area you want to self-harm, and the first day you do a hashtag and the letter C, and the next day you do a U, the next day a T, then a C, then an A, the next day, then a K, then an E, and then when the week is up, when you get cut cake, then you celebrate being a week clean, and you can do this by having cake, or watching a show you like, or having a bubble bath, or doing something you enjoy, just to celebrate being 1 week clean. And I think that that's also a really good idea that would probably help make the first week clean a little bit easier, even though I don't really like saying easier because it's not going to be easy. It is really hard. It's a really hard thing to do and a really brave thing to do, starting to become clean from self-harm, but it just helps, I guess. Both those ideas help. But if you're trying to quit self-harm but you have an urge to, or you've been triggered, there are a lot of alternatives. I'm going to list a few, but I'll include more in the description along with some lists from Tumblr, because that's where I found most of these and that's where I learned them. So if you're feeling sad or hopeless or alone, some alternatives are: congratulate yourself on every minute you go without self-harming. Let yourself cry. Play with a pet. Carefully, and please be careful doing this, but light a candle and watch the flame. And also one that I was told about by a friend is create a list of things that you're happy about, which I think is a really good idea. If you're angry and you want to self-harm, you can scribble on photos of people in a magazine, have a pillow fight with a wall, beat up a stuffed animal, draw what's making you angry, or scribble on a piece of paper till the whole paper is black. And if you want to feel sensation, you can wax your legs, drink or chug freezing cold water, hold an ice cube against your arm, snap an elastic band against your wrist, write or paint on yourself, or get in a tub of freezing cold water. And if you want to see blood, some things you can do are draw on yourself in red pen or body paint or lipstick or something that's red colored. Warm up a bottle of, I'm messing this video, or warm up a bottle of food coloring by putting it in a glass of hot water for a couple of minutes and then gliding it across the area you want to self-harm. Finally, if you want to fix scabs, you can get a henna kit and follow the instructions that's in the kit if you have to mix it together, and apply it to your skin. In a couple hours it'll dry, and you can pick it off like a scab, and it'll leave your skin kind of an orangey color, orangey brown. So well, now I guess I just want to finish this video by saying that if you have struggled with self-harm, or you are struggling with it, you are not alone, and you're so strong. Like you are stronger than you think you are. You're stronger than you could believe, and I'm so proud of you. I love you, and bye guys. See you next Wednesday.